So for this first stroke, we're going to sit nice and straight upright to receive this resting on the shoulders. So we're going to use the fleshy part of the forearms with relaxed hands, leaning forward and gently easing the shoulders down. The first one's really close to the neck, and then we move to the middle of the shoulders, and then the last one's right at the edge of the shoulders. And we repeat that with the neck, middle of the shoulders, and right out on the edge where the shoulder blade meets the collarbone. We do this 3 times. Sometimes it's nice to pause at that last bit on the edge, and that little pause will just help to ease those shoulders down. Then if we lean forward to relax while we get ready to do the T-stroke. The T-stroke is using hands either side of the spine. We're going to be stroking firmly up the spine with effleurage and then out over the shoulders, curving our hands over the arms and gliding down the sides of the back. So hands either side of the spine, stroking firmly up the spine with effleurage, then out over the shoulders, curve hands over the arms and glide down the sides of the back. Take it slowly, adding more oil if you need to. And we do that 3 times. Then we're going to knead, squeeze and release the trapezius on both sides. Covering up the bit we're not working on to keep nice and warm. We're using a sponging motion to squeeze the muscles on the shoulders. And then moving out over the arms. Down the triceps and also the biceps, with a more gentle pressure on the arm because they don't like such a firm pressure. And we're going to do that 3 times. And then we're going to look for gallbladder 21. So if your person moves their head, tips their head forward a little bit, with the chin towards the chest, that helps you to run your finger gently down the neck until you feel one little area that sticks out more prominently, and that's called the cervical spine. And then when you look to that point, at the highest point at the outside edge of the shoulder where the scapula and the clavicle meet, that's called the acromion process. And then you draw an imaginary line between those 2 places, and that's where you should find gallbladder 21. Sometimes it feels quite firm, like a little gobstopper. And if it's quite tender to touch, then go gently round with a little bit of gentle massage to start with. And once it's got used to being touched, then you can gently put some pressure into that area and then gently release that pressure out. Once you've found it on one side, you can look for it on the other side. And once you've had a bit of practice, you can put pressure on both those sides together. When we've done that, we're going to return to the T-stroke. So if you remember, it's hands either side of the spine, stroking firmly up the spine with effleurage, then out over the shoulder with curved hands over the arms, and then gliding down the sides of the back.
And do I lift my head normal?
Yeah. And when we've done that 3 times, we're going to move to the side so that we're more comfortable giving the massage, and we're going to circle one shoulder. Covering up the bit that we're not massaging to keep nice and warm. To begin with, start with one hand and keep good contact with your whole hand, but with the heel of your hand, try and locate where that scapula is and just move the massage stroke around it. When you've found that and you're happy with your circles, you can then join in with the second hand. And that will follow, and at some point your hands will get in a bit of a muddle, so just slide over the second hand so it leaps over and keeps that nice circular motion with both hands. And then you can figure of 8 over to the other side of the back and find a circle on the other side. And when you're happy, join in with the other hand. And once you've completed that 3 times, then you're going to join both sides of the upper back together with a figure of 8 movement. After that stroke, we're going to return to the back and we're going to return to the T stroke. And because you're at the top end of the back, you can start the T stroke from the shoulders and then move down the back. On the third stroke, you go up over the arms and down as far as you can reach, not quite giving her a cuddle, and then you go round to the front, covering up her back to keep her nice and warm if you're in a cool space. And then you start with resting your hands in the middle of the shoulders at the top there.
Quite cool in here.
And then you move down the arms, stroking a nice long stroke all the way to the hands. And then you don't need to return the stroke because arms don't have that much, because arms flop about. We want to just go on a downward stroke all the way to the ends of the hands, and then you can just flick away to the floor. And then we're going to find large intestine 4, and you might need to move the arm of the person you're massaging to make it more comfortable for you. If you're going to move the arm, always pick it up by the elbow and by the hand, never by the wrist. You don't want to feel like a constraint. To find large intestine 4, you need to stroke your thumb between the thumb and the forefinger on that fleshy area, and then you put some pressure in nearer to the finger than the thumb, just under that metacarpal bone there, and the pressure goes in towards the forearm. If it feels too tender initially, you can do some gentle pressures around the edge before you gently put some pressure in and then off again. And then once we've found that on one side, we're going to gently replace the arm, and then we're going to go to the other side. And once we've replaced that arm, we're going to come round to the back and we're going to do a figure of 8 on the sacral area. It's good for the person giving the massage to kneel on the floor to get themselves comfortable at this point. So starting in the middle of the sacrum, we're going to move the stroke in a big figure of 8. Going up over the crest of the hips and down into the glutes as well, just along the bottom there. There's another movement for the sacrum, which is a love heart movement along the top of the sacrum, and then just drawing your hand towards you along the glutes at the bottom. When we've done that, we're going to locate bladder 32. To locate bladder 32, we're going to start just to locate the spine in the centre, and not to massage the spine, but just to gently find it, and then move our fingers a little part away from the spine until you find a groove, and we're going to go down that groove. It's very close to the spine, a bit like going down a train track, until you find a buffer. And that buffer is the top of the sacrum. And when we found that landmark, we're just going to keep an eye on where it is. We're going to move our thumbs a little bit apart and then a little bit down. and then we're going to move around to the back because we want to put some pressure on that area, and we want to just be able to do that with our whole body. And we're gently going to put that pressure in, and then easy out. And we can just keep putting some pressure there. You can also put two hands together and just put a pressure against that whole sacral area. That's a good way of giving those pressure points some pressure there as well. And then we're going to locate the erecti spinae muscles, which are just a ridge of muscles a little bit further either side of the spine, away from where you were before. And we're going to use thumbs on that ridge, and we're going to gently go with pressure in and then out. And just gently moving a little bit further up the spine each time, with an easy in and easy out pressure. Try to work slowly and be very careful to go in and out very gently. When you get nearer to the neck, you use less pressure. And when you get right up to the neck, you want to use less pressure again. You can keep doing those little pressure points all the way up until you get to the base of the skull, and then you can put a little bit of pressure up there and move out towards the ears, but not too close to the ears. And then we're going to massage the neck. So to do this, we need to cover up the bits we're not massaging and move to the sides to make ourselves comfortable. We're going to massage all the way up to the webbing in between our thumb and our forefingers. Starting at the base of the neck, we're going to pull the neck away, right up to the webbing, and then just pulling away gently. And then the next stroke is in the middle of the neck, and the final stroke is just below the skull. And that one's really gentle. You're trying not to pull on any of those little hairs. And when we've done that 3 times, we're going to move to shampooing the hair, the scalp. So this massage of the scalp is best done with dry hands. So we're just going to take the oil off the hands. And it's easier to stand in front of your person for this. So we're going to start at the back of the head, near the neck. And we're going to use our hands with our fingers really good, doing a good pressure into the scalp so that we're moving the scalp itself. We're not moving our fingers over the top of the hair. We're moving the actual skin underneath the hair to massage those muscles that do all that thinking. As you get practiced at this and the person gets used to what you're doing, you'll end up with making bigger circles, and that means that the scalp is relaxing and the massage is doing good. So you come round the sides of the head first, like this, and then you make your way along the Mohican in the middle afterwards. You can see those circles slowly getting bigger. You can see the bun moving in a bigger circle than it was before. And now we're going to move round to the back and we're going to do the T-stroke. As this is the final T-stroke coming up, for the last one, try to go a little bit lighter. So without talking, you give that signal that the massage is not going to last forever. And then we're going to move into the cat stroke, which is using heavy hands with paddy paws going down the back. You start the next stroke before you finish the last stroke, covering all bits of the back. And we're then going to do the feather stroke, which is just using 2 fingers either side of the spine, starting at the top of the neck, starting the next stroke before you finish the last. It's very, very gentle and soft, unless your person is ticklish, in which case use more pressure. And with each of these last few feather strokes, just go lighter and lighter until you're barely touching. And then you want to step away, keep your person nice and warm, and just give them a minute to feel the effects of that massage. And then it would be good to get them a glass of water